dry, windy weather creating some dangerous conditions. We've already seen some brush fires damage homes.
Well, it was pretty bad. You know, I mean, you look up the street, you couldn't even see the houses.
We'll hear from people who had to suddenly get out in Antioch as winds pushed the flames toward their homes. And the major cleanup today. Plus, San Jose pulls the plug on a popular 4th of July fireworks show, why organizers say the spectacle is a safety risk.
I'll miss it, but I'm willing to miss it for public safety.
And a showdown at Valhalla, the Valkyries welcome Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever.
I think it's just going to be amazing. The energy is going to be high.
The buzz from Chase Center as the WNBA's biggest star visits the Bay for the first time. And later, it's a federal holiday of freedom and resilience, how Oakland is marking Juneteenth with a culinary celebration.
This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Hello, I'm Sarah Donchie. Juliette Goodrich has the night off tonight. We are just 1 hour away from one of the most anticipated games of the Valkyries' entire inaugural season. And that's saying a lot considering Golden State has sold out every home game. But tonight is a little bit different. Caitlin Clark is here with the Indiana Fever. It's Clark's first ever visit to Chase Center. And the home fans are fired up to see the biggest star in women's basketball and their team. Got to mention that. We do have team coverage of the excitement both at the arena and at a watch party at the Bay's hottest new women's sports bar. We want to start, though, with Kelsey Thorud live for us from Thrive City. Kelsey, we knew this was going to be a big deal.
Yeah, we did, Sarah. And you more than anyone, I know you're a basketball fan, knows that the hype around this game has been going, I think, since the schedule came out before the season even started. Of course, so many people coming out here to see the Valkyries, but also to see the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark play for the first time here at Chase Center. You can see the people going into Chase Center. It has been packed. You know, hours before they even opened the doors here, people were lining up to get in. This is a big game, of course, because of Caitlin Clark, but we also have our own Iowa alum on the Valkyries in Cape Martin. So this will be a game where the two old teammates get to play against each other for the first time at Chase Center. And it's a fun one for fans. We have talked to a lot of fans who are both Valkyries fans and Caitlin Clark fans, and are going to have to choose who they're really going to root for tonight's game. Here's one family we spoke with.
Clearly you're Caitlin Clark fans?
Yes, we are. That's what got us into, enjoying women's sports and supporting them. We're stoked. We're like super excited. She's super excited. I'm more for her supporting women's basketball.
You play basketball?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And is Caitlin Clark your favorite fan?
Yes.
So who are you going to root for tonight? Are you going to root for Caitlin and Indiana or for the Valkyries?
For the Valkyries.
So you hear there, a lot of Caitlin Clark fans, but a lot of very loyal Valkyries fans. And, Sarah, a lot of people are making a big event out of this. This is not just Bay Area locals that are coming to this game. We've talked to multiple people who have flown in from other states just to see this game. And I talked to someone earlier. They're celebrating their 54th wedding anniversary coming to this game. So a lot of hype, a lot of excitement going into tonight.
Yeah, that is the Caitlin Clark factor for sure. We've seen that happen pretty much wherever she goes all around the country. You hear people excited about it for that reason. And others, Kelsey, thank you so much. We will see you on the pregame show. We appreciate it. Okay, for the people who could not score a ticket to Chase Center tonight, and some were expensive, there is a new spot in the city that is dedicated to supporting women's sports. Lorene Ayub joins us live from the watch party at Ricky's in the Castro. Lorene, we have been covering Ricky's and their early success. How is today looking for them?
Hey there, Sarah. Happy Juneteenth from the Castro. Yes, we're here at Ricky's, and the energy is alive and well here. Like you mentioned, this is the first and only all-female sports bar in the city dedicated to women in sports. Now, check it out. There's actually 12 monitors here dedicated to supporting the Valkyries tonight, really women in sports overall. But what's special about this place is, man or woman, no matter your background, the team is coming together tonight. San Francisco, Bay Area, showing their love for the Golden State Valkyries. So it's special. Tip-off coming up. People are excited. I had to come out with my violet as well. A little bit of violet, a little bit of gold. We're here to support and, excited to see how the night goes.
All right, Lorene, thank you so much. We appreciate that. Glad to see everybody having a good time there. Of course, you don't have to be at Ricky's to watch the game. It is coming here right here. Coming up next on KPIX, pregame coverage starts after this broadcast at 6:30. Tip-off is at 7, so keep those TVs locked in here. All right, on a day with gusty winds and pretty dry conditions, we're keeping an eye on 2 fires in Contra Costa County. Crews are mopping up in Brentwood right now after a fire there damaged 4 homes. This one broke out around 1:30 on Sunrise Drive near Brentwood Boulevard. Several outburned buildings also burned, including 2 kennels. We have not heard yet if there were animals inside those kennels. We certainly hope not, and we will be checking on that. 6 people were displaced by this fire. The Red Cross is there helping them out right now. And in Antioch, pink fire retardant covered a street today where just hours before it was a pretty tense fight to protect houses there. The fire broke out around 7 o'clock last night near the Black Diamond Mines Regional Preserve. This one grew quickly through all of that dry brush that you see right there. The fire burned about a half a square mile before crews stopped its spread right around midnight. We saw a pretty aggressive attack with CAL FIRE helicopters dropping retardant on homes to prevent them from catching. Today, a couple of homeowners were out spray washing their roofs and driveways. Obviously, that is a good thing to keep the houses protected, but it leaves a mess behind. A Navy sailor we spoke with says he was away from home when his fiance called him about the fire.
I was on duty over in the Navy base over in San Diego, and I got a phone call from my fiance. More of a panic, kind of like, hey, the hills are on fire, what do I do? And I told her, grab everything that has a heartbeat and get out of the house. It's overwhelming, I think. Hearing her reaction, seeing this afterwards, it's like, you know, I can see why she reacted the way she did. This is definitely a scary sight to see.
Yeah, definitely nerve-wracking for all of those folks there. There was an evacuation warning last night. First responders had to help people get out of an assisted living home. One of the residents was taken to the hospital. Right now, the fire is fully contained. The cause, though, is still under investigation. Meantime, the fire risk has prompted PG&E to shut off power to nearly 1,000 customers in Alameda, Contra Costa, and Santa Clara counties. Now, this is a look at where those public safety power shutoffs are. The purple areas are planned shutoffs. Obviously, there's a distinction between the ones that pop up because of winds. One of the neighborhoods impacted is just north of the Concord Pavilion. We talked with a homeowner there, Bob Henry. He says the outage started at 4:30 a.m. and PG&E said it could last until Saturday morning. Bob says, though, it's a normal day for him since his home is running off solar. He also took advantage of a program from PG&E that installs a battery storage system in homes for free in certain high-risk areas.
So I called, and they got back to me within about a week and a half, and one thing led to another, a few questions, and next thing a site manager came out, took all the measurements, said we qualified. All said and done, it took about a month and a half, 2 months from start to finish.
PG&E says more shutoffs are expected throughout the weekend. So we want to bring in meteorologist Paul Hagen with more on how long these conditions could last. You did prepare us for this yesterday.
Yeah.
How long is this going to stick around?
Another day of gusty winds tomorrow. In fact, the winds might be fractionally stronger than some of the peak gusts that we've seen today. Let's take a look at some of those highest gusts across the Bay Area. And it's a number of locations that are higher in elevation. Twin Peaks had a 54-mile-an-hour gust this afternoon, 47 miles an hour in the hills above Point Reyes. One of the lower elevation spots that had a stronger gust around Fairfield. Travis Air Force Base picking up a 43-mile-an-hour gust. Otherwise, these 40 to 50-mile-an-hour gusts were generally in the higher terrain, above 500 feet or at least close to it. Tomorrow, the wind gusts for most of the communities around the Bay Area are going to be in the 25 to 35-mile-an-hour range. Just a tiny bit higher than where we were today in the more densely populated parts of the Bay Area. But once again, the same factors that were helping us out today are going to help us out tomorrow. The fact that it's not going to be an offshore breeze, it's going to be an onshore wind that's going to be producing these gusts, and the humidity levels are not going to be critically low, mostly bottoming out in the 20 to 30% range, even on the low end of the spectrum. So that all combines to keep the fire threat not zero. It's never zero this time of year, but could be much, much worse considering the strength of those wind gusts. And actually, I think we are going to be seeing a more dangerous situation developing off to our east on Saturday. This is where a fire weather watch is in effect through the Central Valley on Saturday as the winds turn slightly offshore But even then, the greatest threat, red flag warnings in effect to the east of the Sierra through the Great Basin, Nevada, Utah under red flag warnings through the first half of the weekend. We'll come back and talk about a calmer weekend forecast for our neck of the woods. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, we will be looking forward to the calm, Paul. Thank you. 3 people are out of their home in East San Jose after a cooking accident sparked a fire there that spread all throughout the house. This one broke out at noon on Onslow Way in the Piedmont Hills neighborhood. San Jose Fire says it was probably caused by a propane issue while someone was outside cooking. The fire was mostly in the garage. It did cause some minor damage to the home next door, though. Thankfully, nobody got hurt there. A popular 4th of July fireworks show has been canceled at San Jose's Lake Almaden Park over safety concerns. The risk of fires is just one of the factors behind that decision to cancel. Our Lauren Toms talked with neighbors who say they're torn about it.
At Almaden Lake Park in San Jose, there's no bad view of the annual 4th of July fireworks show.
All areas where you could see the fireworks were inhabited. And so it was, but everywhere around the lake was a good vantage point.
Mike Ross has lived nearby for decades, and he's been coming to the Independence Day festivities hosted by the district's council member since the start. But this year, the skies over the lake will be quiet. Council member George Casey announced the festivities would be canceled due to safety concerns.
Well, I was disappointed that it's canceled, but I understand the concern. You know, it's one thing to be a consumer or a guest at an event where, hey, I'm enjoying this event. But if you're responsible for the public safety of everybody, not just people that are at the event, you know, that's a whole different concern.
In an Instagram post this week, Casey said over 30,000 people attended the fireworks show last year, and because of it, it's outgrown its venue. He added that public safety agencies had a difficult time responding to calls for service due to the traffic congestion and indiscriminately parked cars. He said there are no fiscally responsible options to mitigate safety concerns this year. Casey did not respond to our request for comment. Ross says the park tends to be packed during the fireworks show and traffic getting in and out can get congested, but he understands the decision to cancel.
Definitely safety first. I mean, we love events that can get the community together, but we don't want to put the community at risk because of those events.
But one commenter questioned why the city couldn't find another option. Nearby resident Megan Kessel says while the event gets crowded, the cancellation leaves people with few options to enjoy legal fireworks safely.
Well, you have to go pretty far to go to the other one. It's all the way on the other side of San Jose. It's kind of inconvenient. But when we're here, we usually come and see it here.
And those festivities are hosted nearly 8 miles away at Lake Campbell, where last year a fire sparked during the professional fireworks show. It's emergencies like this the city is concerned about not being able to get to if key intersections like Almaden Expressway are clogged. Ross says he trusts the decision to put safety first.
I mean, I'll miss it, but I'm willing to miss it for public safety.
There are other 4th of July fireworks still happening across the South Bay, at least for now. One of them includes the one that Lauren mentioned at Lake Cunningham Park. Santa Clara, Milpitas, and Morgan Hill all have shows scheduled, plus the Shoreline Amphitheater in Mountain View. That show features a live performance from the San Francisco Symphony, so there are still things to do for the 4th. Matthew Mueller, the so-called American Nightmare Kidnapper, has pleaded guilty to a sexual assault he first committed as a teenager in Sacramento County. Prosecutors say Mueller was 16 when he used a gun to hold 2 young campers captive near Folsom Lake back in 1993. He has since been sentenced to an additional 11 years to life in prison. That is on top of the multiple life sentences he's already serving for a pair of 2009 home invasions in Mountain View and Palo Alto, and a 40-year sentence for a 2015 kidnapping and rape in Vallejo. Vallejo police at the time accused the victim of that assault, Denise Huskins, of faking her kidnapping. Mueller is also facing charges in Contra Costa County. The DA there has charged him in a San Ramon area kidnapping that allegedly happened 2 weeks after he released Huskins. Pittsburgh police want you to take a very close look at this video. It shows a man vandalizing patrol cars right outside of City Hall. This happened on Tuesday evening. You can see a man on a bike jump onto the hood of one of the cars. He threw some rocks at the windshield of two of those cars, damaging both. Then he rode off on a bike northbound on Davie Avenue. If you know anything about this, Pittsburgh police do want to hear from you. Still ahead here at 6, a Bay Area mother gives birth 3 months premature with her daughter weighing less than a pound. The emotional reunion with the NICU team that helped keep her alive.
There's been NICU nurses that have been nurses for 20 plus years and they've never cared for a baby that small.
Plus, we will meet some neighbors celebrating Juneteenth's history of resilience through food and fellowship. Today is Juneteenth, which commemorates the day in 1865 when a group of African Americans in Galveston, Texas, finally learned that they were free. It is considered the true end of slavery in the U.S., and it became a federal holiday in 2021. Today in Oakland, residents came together for this year's Hella Juneteenth Festival. It's a celebration of Black art, community, and culture in the East Bay. Our Kara St. Cyr introduces us to the chef in charge of one of the most essential parts of the celebration, the food.
Happy Juneteenth, Oakland! Let's go, represented in the town today.
It's a celebration of freedom and resilience. And like any get-together in the Black community, Hella Juneteenth is centered around food.
The whole idea behind the cookout plate is to kind of mimic the cookouts of the past where, you know, one uncle might bring something, might bring his chicken, one auntie might bring her mac and cheese.
Byron Neville Hughes is a chef, and this year his job is managing the cookout plates. Each plate is topped with icons of Black culinary cuisine, specifically ones you'd see at a typical cookout.
Can we see that plate real quick?
Mac and cheese,
it's a real deal,
barbecue chicken, and of course, a little pound cake for something sweet.
I think, you know, as we're getting into the 2025s and we're starting to think more about our health and body positivity in that sense, you know, we need to have a little bit of veg on there too. So we have a beautiful black-eyed pea salad that came from Mini Bells.
These plates tell a story of a long fight for freedom, a theme you'll hear throughout this event. But while you're soaking in the atmosphere, Napoleon Dargan doesn't want you to forget about joy.
We celebrating Black joy, Black freedom, Black excellence. We celebrating Juneteenth. This is one of my favorite holidays of the year, and it's dope to be doing it right here.
And there was so much here to inspire joy, from 3 DJ booths to a Valkyries basketball court, and even an AI art experience. But through it all, Erica Worthington is here for one thing.
Unity, because without it, there's no reason or rhyme to all the things that are going on in this world.
The Juneteenth celebrations in Oakland continue this weekend. There's Lake Fest at Lake Merritt on Saturday. It runs from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Tickets are only $5. Coming up, we've had a windy day today. How's the weekend shaping up? Paul will be back to look ahead at the official start of summer. Okay, I keep wondering today, for the people that didn't watch us yesterday or the day before, to walk outside and almost be blown away. Yeah, I mean, even knowing it was coming, it's pretty windy out there.
Yeah, it's breezy out there. It's below the threshold for a wind advisory, so there have been a few power outages here and there, a couple of tree branches coming down. But this time of year, it can be a lot breezier than this, so be thankful it's not any worse. We're going to take one step up in wind speed tomorrow. Let's take a look at the reason for this breezy pattern, and it has to do with the storm system that is still swirling away off the coast of British Columbia. This is the heart of it right here. Now, it's sending all of its energy and all of its moisture into the Pacific Northwest and British Columbia, but it's close enough to squeeze the atmosphere over the west coast and result in those gusty onshore winds. And that's a key distinction, onshore winds. We really focus on the offshore winds when it comes to the greatest fire threat. So while the gusty winds are going to continue, could be a lot worse. We're not going to be seeing any critically low humidity levels, which is at least some good news. Let's take a look at what you need to know in terms of how things are going to evolve here with the specific wind speeds as we go through the next couple of days. And tomorrow is going to be the breeziest day that we see for a while, slightly breezier than today even. Still no wind advisory. Widespread gusts in the 30 to 40 mile an hour range, but nothing stronger than that. It's going to be windy throughout the day, late morning into the afternoon, but the winds die down tomorrow night. And while they pick back up on Saturday, they're not going to be as strong. That's good. However, the winds are going to change direction on Saturday. So let's put both factors together, the wind and the humidity. Humidity levels were low, but not critically low. We look for humidity values in the 5 to 10% range when we're really looking for a boosted fire threat. And we also look for overnight humidity levels to not recover, but they are going to recover tonight. rising up into the 50 to 60% range, at least on the low end of the spectrum. And then as the atmosphere warms up, humidity levels drop, but the lowest we're going to see slightly below 20% by tomorrow afternoon. Now, as we head into the weekend, the humidity levels are still going to be low, and the wind arrows change direction just a little bit. Still running parallel to the coast, but farther inland, that's where it's going to be a slight offshore component to the wind direction. And that's why we're concerned about the slightly higher fire threat for interior portions of the North Bay, into the Delta and the Central Valley, and then for the Diablo Range and the East Bay Mountains. We're going to be watching that as we head into the weekend, even though the winds will be lighter on Saturday. Carson here, our adoptable dog of the day, is going to have plenty of wind in his ears tomorrow, but temperatures are still going to be cool. Another one of the factors helping us out. I'm going to put up the details for his adoption if you are interested in adopting a fur friend right after this weathercast. Let's talk about the temperatures for tomorrow, which is still going to be a cool day. We'll start off with temperatures mostly in the 50s, and then we warm up to about 4 to 8 degrees below average. Those temperatures reaching up only to a mix of 60s and 70s in the Santa Clara Valley. That's definitely on the cool side. Mostly 70s east of the Oakland Hills, which is the warmest spots approaching 80 degrees. Temperatures around the Bay, mostly in the 60s, and the North Bay also staying below 80 degrees. For the first day of summer, summer officially arrives at 7:41 p.m. Had to think about the specific time for a second. We're not going to be seeing anything overly hot as we head through the first several days of the new season. Here is the 7-day forecast for inland parts of the Bay Area, where after another cool day tomorrow, we bounce back to near normal temperatures, but we don't go any farther than that. Low to mid 80s over the weekend and for most of next week. Bayside temperatures running very similarly down tomorrow and then back up to basically what's normal for this time of year through next week. A couple of days dipping down just a little bit into the 60s by Tuesday and Wednesday. And of course, along the coast, hardly any change there, running right around 60 degrees. Sarah?
All right. We like to see it.
Yeah, we'd like to see the winds calm down a little bit.
Yeah. Not the winds.
No.
Right. All right, Paul, thank you so much. When we come back, she was born 3 months premature, weighing less than a pound. And today her parents got to reunite with the life-saving team that cared for her in the hospital. A heartwarming reunion at Kaiser Permanente, San Francisco, where a family visited the medical team that helped deliver their baby. Nyla Silas was born 3 months early. She weighed less than a pound. Doctors were not sure if she would survive, but after 7 months of treatment at the neonatal intensive care unit, Nyla went home for the first time at a healthy 15 pounds. Her parents, Dwayne and Maria, look back on their roller coaster of emotions the day that Nyla was born.
An experience we never imagined would happen, but really the only thing that brought us comfort were our nurses and our doctors who did an amazing job, and we were so happy to finally walk out of here with her.
Oh my goodness. The medical team told us about all of the challenges that they faced when they were caring for Nyla. Nurse Ariana says she was the smallest baby a lot of them had ever helped deliver.
There's been NICU nurses that have been nurses for 20 plus years and they've never cared for a baby that small. So honestly, she was smaller than the size of my hand. So the amount of precision and detail that went into her care was truly incredible.
With a birth weight of 14 ounces, Nyla was actually one of the smallest babies ever delivered at Kaiser Permanente, San Francisco. Coming up next, the Valkyries host Caitlin Clark in the Indiana Fever pregame coverage moments away right here on KPIX. Tip-off is at 7. Thank you so much for watching the news at 6. I will see you back here tonight at 11 o'clock. Enjoy the game. All right, y'all.